What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. To those of you guys who are returning, however, if this is your first time joining me today, hello, I am your host, Megan. Welcome to the Astro Queen. Here we use information from celestial bodies to help us gain a better understanding of our favorite celebrities, world events, but most importantly, our damn selves. Okay, so come on in. So today I'm coming to y'all with another celebrity Synastry reading. And today is going to be on Caresha and JT, so formerly known as the City Girls. But I want to place more of an emphasis on Caresha. Now, this is coming in lieu of the whole Caresha Please podcast, where Caresha was recently interviewed by Saucy Santana. In this interview, she talked about pretty much most of the pressing and controversial topics that her name has been attached to, right? You have this rift between her and JT. And then when you add in the whole situation with Diddygate, Saucy Santana asked her some questions. And her answers, in my opinion, were very vague. Very vague. She got mixed feedback. Some people felt like, she was vindicated and telling her story, and this is a part of her redemption arc. And then some people, like myself, feel like, this hoe full of shit, low key, She kind of gave everybody her ass to kiss while she thought she was going to be Queen Diddy. You know what I'm saying? This just kind of comes with the territory. But that's just my opinion. Feel free to include your opinions in the comment section below. However, the scope of today's reading is to, number one, take a look at Caresha's chart to really determine whether there's validity to a lot of the allegations and speculation surrounding her relationship with Diddy. Okay. Or lack thereof, depends on how you want to look at it. And then we can touch on the synastry between she and JT. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So Caresha was born on February 11th, 1994 in Miami, Florida. I don't have a time of birth available for her. I don't see one. But if y'all do, feel free to, put it in the comment section. So one of the first things that stood out to me regarding her chart is the fact that Caresha is an Aquarius sun. And archetypically speaking, because Aquarius is co-ruled by Uranus, Uranus is a planet of entitlement. It can deal with entitlement. And a lot of Aquarians do have a way about them. And actually, this is what makes them very powerful when it comes to manifestation, is because they command or feel like they are owed certain things, if that makes sense. And so I notice when it comes to like a lot of Aquarius women, they can be very willful, just as willful even as Leos, which is why they oppose Leo. But for women, these can be very either dominant women or women who are pretty much, if they're dealing with a man, especially if we're talking about Sun in Aquarius, you can be sure that they're going to be getting their way or that something is in it for them. Is the best way to put it. Aquarius also deals with convenience. So that actually ties into Caresha's city girl persona, if you ask me. I know a lot of Aquarius women, they won't even let something like a man that they want being in a relationship prevent them from getting that man, if that man, in fact, is what they want. Aquarius can be home wreckers. That's like a lower vibrational expression of that Aquarian energy as it shows up in women. I've noticed a lot of times. And once again, we would have to go back to examine that opposition between Aquarius and Leo, where if Leo rules love and, all things as it pertains to matters of the heart, Aquarius is naturally going to disrupt that shit. Aquarius literally is like the sign of like breakups. Now, obviously, is this to say that Aquarians can't have stable or steady relationships or partnerships? Absolutely not. But I said all this to say it works for Caresha in the way that I see it show up is definitely that form of, bitch, I take your man right out the box and put him under my padlock because I'm going to get what I want. And tying back to, Aquarius and its ability to associate itself with other people, she has a lot of Aquarian energy, which is why my young Miami doesn't necessarily have to be the talent, but she is where she is, which is a lot more successful than her peers, She has her Venus at the 28th degree of Aquarius, her Mars at the 11th degree of Aquarius as well. So with Sun in conjunction to Venus in Aquarius, that's absolutely, an expression of a woman who could be with a man for money, where she could absolutely be taken care of financially, or where it's, Sun in conjunction to Venus in Aquarius is like, I'm entitled to that. So if I'm with you, you're going to give me what I need. Or you gonna do for me, Now, this could also deal with her prioritizing having like friendships, those type of homie, lover, friend kind of relationships with her partners. And also for what it's worth, where she could naturally attract gay men. And no tea, no shade. Everybody goes to the Diddy thing first. Even Diddy aside, when you look at Caresha's life, her life is it heavily revolves around gay men and queer culture, which I thought was very ironic because I remember a series of tweets from back in the day on her Twitter account where she was saying that if her son was gay, she would beat him. And the sun in astrology also deals with your children. And so the fact that she's even an Aquarius sun, and Aquarius can deal with same sex, it's just, I just thought it was so interesting. I thought it was really interesting. I'm not gonna go there, y'all. I'm not gonna go there with the girl child. I don't do that with the kids. But all I'm gonna say is she needs to be careful because God has a very funny sense of humor. That's all I'm saying. But even with that aside, her relationship with Saucy Santana, you could look at that, her friendship with him is being symbolized in that Sun-Venus conjunction in Aquarius as well. Where, the sun dealing with your claim to fame, even the entertainment industry where, they can actually gain a lot of notoriety, which they have. Aquarius also rules the internet with them having that very viral kind of friendship. Every time I look up, I see a clip of them going back and forth, like on the internet, on FaceTime. Hell, he was even the one who conducted the interview. So I thought that was just interesting, where she could have a lot of even relationships with gay men. And once again, then there's P. Diddy. That's crazy. That's crazy. And honestly, a lot of times, Aquarius, if they're dark-sided enough, or if they're like compromised morally or something like that, they would, that type of Aquarius woman would accept even, those type of arrangements. Aquarius is still very unorthodox in nature. So they'll accept an arrangement where maybe they know they dealing with a gay nigga if he gonna pay what he weigh, or where, things could get really experimental and they start bringing other people involved. Those freak-offs, hence Mars at the 11th degree of Aquarius, and it don't make it any better that she has that Venus at the 28th degree of Aquarius and her sun squaring that Scorpio North Node. Now, Scorpio deals with sex in and of itself. A lot of Scorpio North Nodes can find themselves dealing with things that are very like low vibrational. And technically, slick, you could say maybe that's their karmic right. You know, with Scorpio on the North Node. A lot of Taurus South Nodes tend to play things safe, too safe naturally. So in this lifetime, with Scorpio on the North Node, the idea is that you embrace that darker part of yourself, right? Scorpio deals with everything taboo, things that society feels uncomfortable about, that people don't touch: sex, death, abuse, you know? This also ties hand in hand with someone who can attract a lot of that energy. Now, is this to say that, you know, Scorpio North Nodes can't live happy lives or transmute, you know, a lot of the things that they go through? Of course not. But Scorpio in and of itself archetypically represents all things extreme, okay? It's the natural ruler of the 8th house. So, you know, with Scorpio on the North Node, these are people who are destined to come face to face with crime. I've seen some Scorpio North Nodes involved in criminal organizations, which made me wonder and speculate just how intertwined Young Miami is with this Diddy shit. I'm not gonna lie. This is just that's just my perspective, you know. But Scorpio also, once again, deals with, like I said, sex and abuse. And she's also been very vocal about the fact that she's been in an abusive situation. Diddy is an abuser. And it's not lost upon me that Diddy is a Scorpio sun, y'all. So I don't think they have an exact conjunction between his sun and her North Node. However, it could still carry a lot of the same frequencies as a Sun North Node connection, which could be, I could see her, if this situation wouldn't have happened, I could have seen her getting pregnant by him. If y'all go back and check out the video that I did on Sun North Node relationships, okay? I'll go ahead and plug it in the description box. But this could also deal with where Diddy introduced her to that darker part of life. He took her from, you know, being on a certain level, a certain maybe level that she was used to, even feeling like you're being in a rut. That's very Taurus South Node. So when she described in the interview that, you know, she felt like her relationship or her group with JT was coming to a halt. People weren't really demanding them, you know, in a certain way anymore. You know, Taurus rules music. So you could even look at this in her chart, right, as Caresha turning her back on music, and then Diddy, through that activation of his sun being in Scorpio and her North Node in Scorpio, just completely catapulted her into like a whole different type of dimension, like a world where, like I said, all of that shit is up for grabs. You know, all that lower vibrational shit. Scorpio, another octave of Scorpio is demonic. You know, that's another way you want to look at it. And she has her North Node at the 28th degree. What age did she start dating Diddy, y'all? She was 28. I can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. So, I mean, I personally feel like there's a lot, regardless as to what she admits, there's a lot of dirt that Caresha has been a part of, you know, or at the very least knows about, at the very least, you know. On top of that, she does, and then, you know, Scorpio rules pee. You know, she was getting peed on, you know, all that. People with Scorpio on the nose, I noticed, Scorpio South nodes are worse though, way worse. But in terms of like struggling with like their sexual nature, you know, and this is for the ones who are like that. If you have Scorpio on the North or South node and that's not your fight, this is not for you. That can actually even be projected into your experiences with other people. But based on what we know about Caresha, I think it's safe to assume she definitely would fit in the category of somebody who would indulge in those type of things. Like when they get nasty, they can be downright depraved or run into people who are like that, like predators. A lot of people with Scorpio on the nose have histories of grape, if you know what I'm saying, remove the G, abuse, either on the giving or receiving end. They struggle with a lot of those lower level desires or, things like that, or being on the other end of it. Another example of this would be Meg Thee Stallion. She's a Scorpio North Node, very sexual. And like I said, in this lifetime, that technically they have that right, but you got to be careful because Caresha might have got too much dip on a chip. You can overdo the North Node energy. You just can. And then Scorpio rules the anus. So I wonder if Diddy had her eating butt too. She probably was eating booty. What y'all think? Y'all think Caresha was eating booty? Let me know in the comments. But it's looking real treacherous. She also has her Jupiter at the 14th degree of Scorpio. That's another placement that can deal with one having a very, very, very strong sexual appetite. But that's also indicative of there being a certain level of corruption when it comes to one's moral system. So in tandem with this Scorpio North Node, it puts me in the mindset of someone who, in the name of, whatever it is, like power, when it comes to like power and things that make them feel even like a rush, things that bring them a rush in life, they'll kind of worship those things. They'll quickly make something else like their God, right? It can be a very like dark energy, and it puts me in the back to the headspace of like the situation with Diddy. And even if she's not necessarily in on it, like Diddy's co-defendant and whatever it is he's been doing, at the very least, she's been up close and personal with it. She has knowledge of it. She said in the interview that she didn't get that side of Diddy, and I'm going to say that the only way she didn't get that side of Diddy is because she wasn't with him long enough. That's just what it is. So even if Diddy didn't abuse her physically, he could have still been very deeply rooted in, and involved in certain activities. And especially based on some of the reports I've been hearing that involve like her cousin doing certain things to certain people. And then the allegations about them trafficking the pink cocaine. Like, it gives me like complicit vibes. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's another reason. He may not have to beat your ass if you agree. He might not give you a knuckle sandwich if you go along with the agenda, man. Another manifestation of Taurus on the South Node is reveling and marveling and being the favorite. All right. Taurus can even deal, especially on the South Node, can deal with favoritism. And I feel like that's what, in her mind, this relationship with Diddy symbolized, like her being an industry favorite, her receiving special treatment, gifts, all that. Very Taurus South Node, right? Reveling and marveling, like I said, in the things that ultimately don't matter, only looking at it from a surface level until you get in too deep. Now, next thing you know, you fighting for your life in that Pluto or Scorpio North Node activation, I should say, which would be there being strings attached to those things, if you get what I'm saying. The money, the gifts, the this, the that. There are things that are attached to that. And a lot of times for Scorpio North Nodes, what's attached to it can be kind of dark. Specifically, if you are a Taurus South Node that is like in that type of position, in the music industry especially. So, there's that. So getting into the synastry between she and JT, okay? Now, JT was born on December 3rd, 1992 in Miami, Florida as well. She's not, I don't have her time of birth either. However, some important things to touch on just regarding their synastry. So in the interview, Caresha goes on to say that they're not bad, but they're not good. And she just feels like when you take certain things to the internet, things become different and blase squaze. Which, once again, her sun, Venus conjunction in Aquarius, that is absolutely like her and her friends being on the internet. But I will say the fact that her Venus is squaring that Scorpio North Node, that could be a friend trying to attack her on the internet. I'll give her that. But, typically in a vacuum, when you have Aquarius and Sagittarius, right? If we're just looking at their sun signs, it's actually a very compatible pair, as the two signs form a natural sextile to one another. But on a friendship level, Aquarius and Sagittarius, it's a very fun, exciting friendship. Unpredictable. You don't know what's happening next. You may not know what the next person, the other person going to do. They kind of egg each other on. It's a fun time. Even when I think about my personal experiences with different Aquarians. However, as I went through, the rest of the chart for each woman, I'm like, okay, you slowly start to see where the rift between the two really comes into play. So first things first, well, actually, I'll start with the positive. Okay, you have Caresha's Pluto trining JT's Pisces moon. Both of these women are actually Pisces moons and are really good examples of how different planetary placements are expressed differently in different charts, like just based on the person. And of course, the aspects and the house placement matters as well. But so in this instance, you have Caresha, whose Pisces moon is very symbolic of her mother going to jail, her mother doing scamming, fraud, whatever she was doing, right? And then also there being a sense of abandonment, neglect, which makes sense if her mom got locked up all those years, right? And I heard her mama was a city girl and she used to run with Trina. So even before she got locked up, you cannot convince me that she was at home with them kids all the time. But it all worked out for her in the end, I guess. And then on the other hand, you have JT, whose Pisces moon resulted in her going to jail directly, her being involved in scamiana and fraud, and even her being homeless. That's a very Pisces moon thing. Not to say that all Pisces moons are going to become homeless. No, not necessarily. That doesn't have to be true. But that's how it was for her. And then the fact that it's squaring her Gemini South node, which could create a factor where she's, sleeping around, like on people's floors rather, looking for a place to sleep. She said she used to, not have anywhere to go, make pallets and whatever the case may be. But I digress. With Caresha's Pluto trining JT's Pisces moon, that definitely can create a very profound connection, a connection where on Caresha's half, she feels very protective towards JT. So where they have like a strong sense of like devotion to one another. I feel like that trine is responsible for maybe them normally handling their issues kind of privately, which I will say that's something that she mentioned, like she didn't feel like it was okay for everything to hit the internet. I'll give her that. And with this aspect, is actually the tightest aspect that they share. I feel like it's a place that they can get back to. Like the potential is there for that. But with trines, you got to do work. You got to work on it. And, that's just a matter of what it is. Pluto, Caresha's Pluto is also trining JT's Mars in Cancer. So that could be them having a bond where they go way back and almost like there being this familial like connection. even like surrogate, like I don't know if Caresha kind of her family took JT in kind of thing, kind of gives me those vibes. And yeah, you know, so these are some really nice aspects to have, right? That's cool. But then you get into where Caresha's Aquarius sun is squaring JT's Pluto in Scorpio, which could deal with there being jealousy, and specifically as it pertains to like Caresha's other friends and the people that Caresha are around. Okay, when the sun is in Aquarius, Aquarius rules your acquaintanceships, your friendships, who you associate yourself with, right? So, even men, I would even say this actually is reflective of JT not liking Saucy Santana. I would put my money on that. That a Caresha's Aquarius sun squaring JT's Pluto. So that jealousy, that friction, and JT feeling the type of way. Caresha's sun is squaring JT's Mercury in Scorpio. That's JT also being very suspicious, you know, of the people that Caresha is bringing around in Caresha's actions or what she's doing. This could deal with JT reading into every little thing, especially like on social media. So yeah, right there goes a lot of animosity, right? Naturally. And the thing about Aquarius is that Aquarius can't be controlled. You know, don't get it fucked up that just because a lot of times they're surrounded by other people or, you know, in proximity to other people. They may even have what they have by way of other people, which is definitely the case for Caresha, because it's not talent. However, they can't be controlled. They just can't. They can't be in situations where they're controlled for too long. They're going to be even teetering the line between being disloyal. Because all Aquarians, that doesn't necessarily have to make them bad people. The fact that they can't be controlled, right? Obviously not. But sometimes you even get the Aquarians who teeter that line to being just straight up ruthless, cold, disloyal, you know, doing their own thing. And so that's another way to look at Caresha's sun squaring JT's Pluto, where she could look at her like that, like you being phony. And no tea, no shade. Dark-sided Aquarian women are horrible friends, bro. Some of the messiest bitches, most horrific bitches you'll meet in your life. Unpopular opinion, Meg Thee Stallion is another great example. But you know, I ain't even gonna go there with y'all because I don't feel like fighting today. Don't jump me. But the technical explanation behind this is with Aquarius representing the archetype of, once again, friends, friendship, associationship, allyship, if you will. It creates this kind of stereotype that I noticed, right? It really depends on the condition of that said Aquarian planet. Specifically, if we have the sun in Aquarius, even Mars and Venus in Aquarius, you know, with Mars in Aquarius, especially if it's like forming a lot of squares or, you know, just depending on what house it is, house is placed in, can deal with a person who, can be very friendly. They can make a lot of new friends. You know, they can actually have like very friendly demeanor, you know, like how they come off, but they could also lose friends really quickly or, you know, be those type of people to hop from friend group to friend group, which even if we tie back to Caresha, that's kind of what it gave. Now, I will give her some slack because obviously JT was locked up for a while. So, you know, her relationship with Santana, she definitely formed in the meantime, but she gives that energy because, you know, there have been videos of her partying with Lotto and this girl and that girl, and y'all know how the politics of like the rap beef girlies go, and you know what I'm saying. But she's that type of bitch, which is also, it's just very dark-sided Aquarius. Or if, you know, you are an Aquarius with a lot of afflictions, negative aspects to that planet, they have an issue with being like that friendship kind of archetype gets distorted, and they have a problem with being good friends, right? They can't be good friends. You can't trust them bitches. Like, you just can't. It also, we're talking about Uranus can deal with instigating. And, it's like they can be removed from that piece that makes a person human. So if you have somebody who's really low vibrational and toxic on the Aquarius scale, they can be really, really nasty, really, like, even bullies. That Aquarius is the sign of bully. That type of girl that'll be your friend, but, like, still do weird shit. Like, literally, Aquarius deals with weird shit. You, like, literally, it just is what it is. So a lot of times JT could be observing these things and feeling a way about it. And Aquarius is not necessarily going to be that emotionally connected to the process and what the fuck is going on. They just going to do them. However, JT, on the other hand, is going to feel away. You also have Caresha's Jupiter and Scorpio squaring JT's Saturn and Aquarius. This could deal with JT feeling left out as, like, Caresha rose to prominence, kind of getting on her, like, doing her thing, getting in her bag and gaining more notoriety and whatever the case may be. But it could also even deal with just JT being antisocial and not being a part of the bullshit, to be real. Like, that key breaking point where they went their separate ways, okay? Because that Saturn and Aquarius for JT made her very, like mistrusting of other people. Like, it's kind of like, I don't want new friends. You can want some new friends and people to hang around, bitch. I don't. And like I said, with Caresha also having all that Aquarius energy, I could definitely see that as well. So, or just JT not wanting to be a part of, like I said, whatever underground shit that she got going on. Caresha has her Uranus forming a conjunction to JT's Venus, both in the sign of Capricorn, which could deal with, number one, them being in a group. I will say it could also deal with them being friends, longtime friends, those friends that you go way, way back with, you got a lot of history with. However, on the flip side, it can deal with a more business, contractually obligated kind of partnership. In Synastry, I've seen this even in romantic relationships where two people are together for convenience and because it looks good on paper only. And if you took a look at the last couple of interviews that the City Girls did, they were very like, damn, you bitches, everything all right at home? Like, y'all good? How is you good? They wasn't fucking with each other like that. And it was so obvious. The interviews were awkward as hell to watch. Hence that Venus-Uranus conjunction, that awkward-ass relationship. Distance. No closeness. There's no real closeness. But because, like I said, this conjunction is in Capricorn, they'll get together when it's about business. But with this conjunction, this could also signify where Caresha kind of has the upper hand in the equation, because it puts the dissolution of the group, ultimately the breaking up of the group, in her hands. Like, where she's the one. And this could be through, just how she's carrying herself, but where she would be the one to kind of break away from the group and do her own thing first. So with this conjunction, I feel like Caresha broke away first. I know that I think she gave a different story, and y'all can believe what you want. You ain't got to believe me. You know what I'm saying? But just based on this synastry aspect, it's definitely giving me Caresha is the one who kind of is the disruptive one in the group. Uranus is a very disruptive planet. Once again, it co-rules Aquarius, can't be controlled. They're going to go and come as they please. Okay. This could also deal with there being a mistrust between the two. It could also, it could be a very nasty, even when it comes to like Caresha's friends. Once again, you could look at this as her industry friends. JT kind of being cool on them and cool on that. You have Caresha's Aquarius sun opposing JT's Chiron and Leo. I feel that this opposition kind of does create a dynamic where JT is triggered like her, that part of her that feels like invalidated and overlooked, like she never got. And that's very Generation Chiron Leo. If you have Chiron and Leo, let me know in the comments below, your experience. But Generation Chiron in Leo is they have a lot of issues when it comes to being validated. And so a lot of times they can overcompensate, or, this could also manifest in like major daddy issues, problems with men and blah, blah, blah. But with this opposing, and not to mention Leo deals with the industry. So somebody who feels like maybe they kind of have like a short hand, like JT got the short end of the stick in the industry, where this opposition to Caresha's Aquarius sun can symbolize her viewing Caresha, like, even when it comes to her friendships and, her going viral and different things that she's doing and how she's approaching the entertainment industry, her career, it could have, truly triggered. This part of that is triggering, or even how Caresha moved into friendship, that could have been something that was very triggering. Like it could have even triggered a lot of childhood wounds for JT, or been something that was kind of traumatic. Caresha's Uranus is in, also it could deal with where JT could kind of be a brat and Caresha's not accommodating that. I will say that could deal with that too. Because, even though Caresha has that Pisces moon, y'all know Pisces moons can be very empathic and sweet. She still has plenty of Aquarius energy rather, and they're gonna say fuck it. They're gonna say fuck it. Also, you have Caresha's Uranus and Capricorn opposing JT's Cancer Mars. So once again, that's Caresha showing this loyalty, bringing other people around. With that Cancer Mars, JT actually likes to be very private. And this could even deal with where Caresha could bring shit online too, while she talking about JT. So I don't even know why she made that point. Caresha has her Uranus sextile in JT's Pluto. I will say that could deal with them being a super group. Okay. And yeah. So do I think they'll get back together? Maybe they will. But yeah, their friendship is, they grew apart, and that's okay, But I do see where a lot of jealousy and things like that could come into play as well on both parts. Once again, we got to revert back to that Venus in Aquarius squaring Caresha's Scorpio North Node. That door can swing both ways. I just think JT's jealousy towards Caresha was in a different way. Her jealousy towards Caresha reads more into like the way Caresha deals with other people and her relationships with other people, as opposed to being jealous of Caresha herself, if that makes sense. If it makes sense. And Caresha just has more loyalty to herself, and that's just kind of what it is. And yeah. So yeah, this concludes my video. Y'all drop down in the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.